from one Ashley Birch game to another, I started Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yes. Me and Gadget are keen on this.
Well, wait. Hold up.
What?
So I've played this for about 10 hours. Half as a solo campaign by myself and about half multiplayer with a couple of friends.
You've got friends other than us?
Not that many, but enough to play Tiny Tina. I wrote them into it. I paid them off.
So that's 3.
Yeah.
You're like, here, guys, I'll give you a free tattoo if you play a game with me.
Yeah, exactly. So the half of the game that I've played by myself, I have really enjoyed. It's like sort of standard Borderlands fare. So loot coming out your ears, Easter eggs, quips, and then cut in with that, you've got sort of lots of Dungeons and Dragons style systems, which is seeing as we're playing a campaign of our own, it is nice to see what actually is being used from Dungeons and Dragons. Although they call it bunkers and badasses in the game,
which I'm into.
Because they're not allowed to have the rights to the name, are they?
Can we change our podcast name?
to be fair as well, for Merchants, they have released Bunkers and Badasses as a D&D style source book. Like, they've made the game into a real thing.
That's cool. That's cool.
We could do a Bunkers and Badasses one shot if someone wants to let me take £60 out of the Patreon account because it's expensive.
No, fine.
No, we're fine.
Stick with the budget original.
Yeah, I prefer your original works, mate. You're like a Tolkien of D&D.
He truly is.
Why? Because I'm cheap.
Yeah, and you used to be a World War I veteran.
Naturally. It's the most known fact about me.
You've been in the trenches, you know.
Top of my Wikipedia page.
Yeah, that needs to go in your bio now.
World War I vet.
Not many of you will know this about me, but I used to be a World War.
Anyway, can I talk about the game?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Relax.
So you've got your the levels, sort of Borderlands style. But unlike traditional Borderlands, you do have like a world map, which is kind of Final Fantasy style, like Final Fantasy 7, 8. So you can travel around to each location by foot. And a few sort of random encounters as well on your way. And my god. So whilst you're on this world map, your character is just adorable. It looks like a little bobblehead. So you've got a gigantic head.
Can you create your character?
Yes, you can. Yeah, the character creator is fun. So you get sort of a choice of maybe 10 different things of each part of your body or whatever. But like Borderlands, as you go through it, playing it, you can collect things. You can collect dyes, hairstyles, masks, this, that, and the other. So it's
in a
fun.
first-person game. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. The gameplay is probably slightly less frantic than Borderlands. The music is nice and kind of medieval. And I think it's sort of slightly less stylized in the cel-shaded way as well, although I think I'd probably have to go back to Borderlands 3 and just give it a quick burst because I might be misremembering. Ashley Birch, always incredible as Tiny Tina, especially, like I said, coming straight from Horizon. It's incredible to see like what a range she has. And I'm playing it on the normal difficulty so far. The main quests have not been at all challenging, really. If there is a difficult mode, I haven't unlocked it yet. But the side quests, they do seem to be a lot more of a challenge. And I think you would probably benefit from taking a couple of friends along. Which brings me to the multiplayer aspect.
Oh, no.
It is fucking woefully undercooked in terms of stability.
Oh dear.
Oh, it is awful. It is really bad. So the game is cross-platform. So what you do is you're able to use 2K's shift system to play with others on different consoles.
Known perfect system.
It barely works. So I was actually playing it multiplayer this afternoon. I played it for about 3 hours with Acid Pearl and Mothram Deer, actually, listeners of the show. Who were playing it on PS4 and PS5. I'm playing it on Xbox myself. It took us half an hour to try and connect to each other. Even when we did manage to finally connect, the chat system wasn't working properly. So, yeah. So weirdly, actually, it wasn't so much a problem between the Xbox and PS5. We could hear each other fine. It was the PS4 to PS5 that was having the trouble.
That's fucking stupid.
It's ridiculous. So we ended up, luckily we managed to use Discord to chat, but that's not really the point. It should just work.
And it's Sunday as well. Discord usually goes down on a Sunday.
Yeah, that's true.
You'd have been fucked.
Saved the day.
Wow.
But we have played. We did a bit of a playthrough together a couple of days ago as well. And even then, we really struggled to connect to each other via Shift. It kept sort of appearing as though we were offline, and even now, I don't think they're showing as Shift friends. So we have to go sort of ask about Faceway to connect to
Why
each
is this
other.
so complicated?
Ask
I don't
We
Nintendo.
play Battlefield and EA friends list, and it's just like, what the fuck? We're 3 or 4 of us are playing Battlefield PS5. We're friends in our own fucking friends list. Why do I have to
Right.
use EA to be friends?
Yeah, but then
to
again,
play
you've still
that?
got to play Battlefield 5.
It's ridiculous. I don't understand why they do things like this. It just isn't necessary.
It's some companies have just got an exceptional netcode, haven't they? And some just I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. I don't think they've
'Cause
tested it enough.
If you play Borderlands 1, 2, or 3, and you're all playing on the same system, the multiplayer works absolutely fine. Not a problem.
It's
this is the
2022 though.
first-
That shouldn't be an issue.
No, I
Yeah,
agree.
I think this is the first one that's actually cross-platform, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah,
the
it
last
is.
ones were multiplayer, but I don't think it was cross-platform.
It's
But
shit,
yeah,
man.
it's
It's
just-
shit.
It's so
Yeah, it's
shit.
dog
So
shit.
yeah, so I mentioned we were playing it for about 3 hours. Most of the time was spent playing sort of a reasonably challenging, certainly a long side quest. And we were making some headway. We got to the final boss. Sure enough, I got disconnected, and this was about 10 minutes before I had to stop to start getting ready for the pod as well. I
Oh,
just
dear.
I just couldn't be asked for the half-hour rigmarole of trying to get connected again. So, it also suffers really badly multiplayer with lag. And I know probably some of this is because one of us is playing on a last-gen console, but even with the single player, so like I said, I'm playing on the Series X, so there should be no problem whatsoever. But there's been some sort of noticeable pop in with the rendering of objects and stuff, and some.
Look, I've played Rocket League with my son on a Switch and me on a PS5. Not a fucking stutter.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think
I
Borderlands
understand
is
it.
particularly in graphics heavy as well. Like, fair enough, I don't really know how it
I
works.
was looking forward to playing this with Gadget, but at least he's probably going to get it on Xbox, and I'm going to be on PS5. So,
But that hasn't
this is
proved
worrying.
the problem yet. It's been just as much of a problem between your PlayStation systems.
Oh.
So yeah, there's.
We could wait
yeah,
for it to be less raw.
Yeah, we could, mate. We could.
I'm
We
wondering
could.
if a patch is going to fix it or not. It certainly might fix. The
I'll be up for
rendering
playing it
issue.
as well because I'm a massive Borderlands.
Yeah, I might
I
be able
just
to
think
sort
the
be able to
biggest-
sort some codes as well.
The
So,
problem with
might be free.
Borderlands is there are generally issues when they launch at first, and they do have that pop in, pop out, the glitches, and they do get fixed. And when it's actually, like you say, not as raw, they're perfectly playable. And I do
fucking
recommend,
raw.
Yeah.
and I do recommend playing the campaign first and then doing the co-op, because when you're playing with other people, you miss
You
the
miss stuff.
jokes, you miss
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. So if you really want to take that all in, do the
I
main
watched
game
I
first.
watched a review of it, and it looked really fun to me. And I'm not a Borderlands fan. I've played pre-sequel for about 6 hours. I've played 3 for about 15 hours, and I just dropped off it. But I watched the review of this, and it looked more my cup of tea. It's got a little bit of a leveling system. It's got magic. It's got more melee. I know the melee's
Yeah.
half cooked, but it's
Oh, it's
With
much
PC.
better in this one. It's much better than previous Borderlands. Look, here's the thing. I'm probably shitting on it too much because of the experience I had with multiplayer today. But under those problems, it is a really, really fun game. It's hard to look past when a lot of people are going to be playing it multiplayer, and everything's more fun when it's multiplayer. Are people actually, when there's so many games coming out at the moment, are people actually going to stick around and wait for it to be cooked before they start fucking up?
There's the diehard Borderlands fans though that won't have any bad things said about it. Like they like, they're insane. Some of them.
The
Well, I mean, like I
DLC
said, the
for
game
Borderlands
itself.
sometimes was quite hit and miss. But when that Tiny Tina one came out, the D&D one was so cool.
Yeah, I played
It
that.
was
It's good.
really funny. It
It
was
is good.
really funny. It was really
Yeah.
well done.
My only issue is from a technical perspective. So hopefully a couple of patches down the line
That's
and we'll
it.
be golden, because like I said, there is a fun game. When it's been working, it has been really fun. And the single player, despite the questionable load times, it has been really fun. And the jokes have been on point and probably funnier than Borderlands as well. And it's just that little bit less hectic. So you won't be getting a migraine quite as quickly as you do playing Borderlands.
It's reviewed quite positively as well, so I've got high hopes for it. I'd prefer him to stick to this kind of thing than Borderlands itself, because Borderlands just didn't.
I think
didn't stick
2 was
with
the
me.
best so far. 3.
That's the one I haven't
yeah.
played. I haven't played 2, and everyone keeps saying play 2. You'll like 2. I've got it on Switch. I've just not touched it. So I think I've got it on Switch or PS4. I can't remember. But
just looking at the cast list for it as well. They've got a really good cast for it. Like the big bad evil guy is played by Will Arnett of all people.
Oh fucking hell! He's incredible at anything he does.
And Andy Samberg's in it. Wanda Sykes. Yeah,
Is Matt Mercer in it?
No, he's not actually.
Well, they missed the trick.
Andy Samberg is just playing Andy Samberg as well.
That's all he plays. But he does it very well.
Excellent.
He does do the best.